Welcome back to the Fundamentals podcast, where we talk all things related to sports from a fan's perspective. What's up, man?
Hey man, it's good day so
Good
far.
day, good day. Yeah, good day. Um, Man, it has been so hot, bro. It's been so humid. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
insanely humid. It's been pretty, but
yeah.
it's man, like
Well,
it's
welcome to
the
Texas
moment when
summer.
and we're it's not even August yet. We ain't even hit the you know what I mean? It's not even
Mm-hmm.
July yet. We ain't even got into the thick of things yet.
Yeah, for real.
It's been super humid. Um Other than that, man, I know you kept up with the draft a little bit. Of course, we knew Cooper Flag was gonna go to
Yeah.
Dallas, man. I had a question for you. I was curious if you thought today's kids being drafted into the NBA. It's NBA draft is totally different from the NFL draft, man. Like it's a different it's just a different vibe. We know that it's a different feel. Like NFL draft is like way bigger than the NBA draft. Do
Yes, it
you
is.
do you think that with the NIL money and the money that these kids are able to get from deals prior to making it, do you think they have like the passion is not the same for them being drafted today? Like it seems like they're less emotional, than they used to be.
But man, I think it has something to do with it though. I mean, when you could be in college and you know you can get all kinds of dollars thrown at you that almost equates to be having professional
NFL money
NFL,
or
NBA
NBA
money.
money,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Either one, it kind of does dilute the whole. It makes it seem like that dream ain't the same type of dream. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
a lot of people wanted to get into the like you trying to get drafted into the NFL because you're trying to make it. You want to make it big. You know what I'm saying? You got big dreams. You want to help your family out. Whatever it is, whatever your background was. But I do think a lot of it is a lot of it is with the fact that the NIL has made it to where they can get a lot of big payouts on the collegiate level, it kind of does take away. You know what I'm saying? That money done took away the passion of the games. You know what I'm saying? The passion for what you. I mean, I think also they still do have that passion because I mean, yeah, who wouldn't want to do this for life? You know what I'm saying? This is your career. You know what I'm saying? You doing something what you love for your career, but I just don't think it's the same. They don't have that same level of
charisma.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? It just that burning sensation inside you. I get now it's almost like yeah, I can get money. I can get money in college. And what? So what? You know what I'm saying? So I think we are coming up on the generation that is going to not appreciate as much. I mean, because you still got people that are trickling in now. They only had a couple of years of the NIL, so it's not like
Yeah, they
everybody's
did
accustomed to it right now.
right, and it's different levels of money that they're getting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but give it a couple more draft things, because as we see how some of these kids are getting upwards of millions of dollars just off of NIL deals. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like eventually it's not the same type of passion. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's not the same type of passion. I hopefully it's the love of the game that that
that
um
right
that brings them back to that passion. The money don't mean nothing. I just love to play the game. You know what I'm
game.
saying? So
Yeah, for
that's what
sure.
I'm hoping continues on or to showcase itself even further, and that's the reason why they want to be in it. But the whole enthusiasm, that lifelong dream for some of them probably ain't the same no more. Shoot, just think about 10, 15 more years down the road where you got the kids that you know they grew up in the age of the NIL deals. What they gonna
Yeah,
think about the professional level? You know
level.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
yeah,
you might think I want to get to this big college because I'm about to get these big deals because of these colleges is throwing all this money because I'm a star. Then you get into the NBA or the NFL and it's just like, well, business as
yeah,
usual, you
yeah,
know. So
yeah.
I think it does kind of take away a little bit from it. The little bit of passion doesn't seem to be as thick as it was, but that's just my perspective.
Yeah.
Um, Hopefully, the love of the game still burns in a lot of these young kids' hearts or
Yeah.
something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm hopeful that a lot of them overall still have the passion. I mean, obviously, NBA draft night, the first round I did watch. There was quite a few that that you could feel the emotion, and then there was some where I was like, do you even really want to be in the NBA, or are you just doing this
Mm,
because? And the thing is, I know that there's different levels of the NIL money, and I've been
mm-hmm.
an advocate for these players to be able to get paid off their likenesses.
Yeah.
And I've been that way for many years, even prior to it happening.
Mm-hmm.
But um, based on what I'm seeing, more specifically NBA. Um,
Yeah.
because it's so many, it's less players and it's more money thrown around for them than it is. I mean, obviously the ones that get the money on the collegiate level for football are getting
Mm-hmm.
big money,
Yeah,
but
they biggie.
it's yeah, they
They
buku.
biggie.
But the collegiate basketball players, you know, it's just it's a lot of money to spread to less players,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them I'm just curious how passionate they are about it, and so a lot of times I'm thinking, well, should we put a cap on how much they're allowed to get, or should it just be a free for all?
Good question.
But then we
I
have to
mean,
ask, what would the cap be?
yeah. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence with it because, like, yeah, you should make how much if you can make money off your name, make money off your name.
Make money off your
But at the
name, yeah.
same time, it's kind of like, but is it really that? It's like they might need to cap as much as you can garner. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of almost leaning towards that way because let's just be real. Money changes a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? It changes the passion of a person sometimes. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah, for sure.
when they ain't got it, you grinding to get it. Then once you can get it, there's a lot of people that don't. They ain't got no passion no more. You see it
Yeah,
in any aspect of life.
the
Music is a
grind is
big
gone.
thing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you listening to music, that album ain't the same with the person that just started out and he hit you with some fire. But when he got skin in the game about 9, 10, or 5, 6, 7 years, or he done dropped 2 to 3 albums, you start seeing a drop in the quality because you just kind of like, it sounds like you ain't even hungry no more. You just,
Yeah, that
you
grind
know what
just
I'm
ain't the
saying?
same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm feeling like you might have to bring some type of cap level to it. You know what I'm saying? You have to do something to curtail all of that. Like, yeah, you should be able to get money off your name, but I think it should be limited to what deals you are able to get. If you cut a deal with a company, uh, you can only have your contract can only be a certain length of time, or uh, they can only pay you a certain amount. There's a cap on this money that they can pay you because I mean you're gonna make money off your name anyway. You know what I'm saying? If you're a big name person or something like that, and people
you're gonna,
are
yeah,
right there, you're gonna make money off your name.
yep,
Like I wouldn't mind like saying like there's only a certain amount that can be thrown to them, and this is where the ceiling is. I don't know what that number would be, but I'm just saying like this is this is how much you can earn off of NIL deals. You know what I'm saying? So this is it. No more. You know what I'm saying? If it equates to this amount, you can't earn anymore. So you can't get a new NIL deal for further than that because it will balance out the playing field if you really think about it too, especially on the college
that
level.
that's
You
another
if
that yep,
Yeah, so if everybody can only earn this amount of money, then it's just like it kills the whole let me jump ship after this because this team over here is paying me more. It still gives you that because you're still gonna be some teams ain't gonna want to give you that much money, or some teams will might want to get. Or, I mean, not teams, but I'm just saying, you know, some offers of the NIL that you do get to endorse to go to a certain specific school. You know what I'm saying? Will give you, let's just say hypothetically, 300,000. Okay, let's
right,
just hypothetically, $300,000 is the max that you can get. Not everybody's gonna want to give you 300,000. So if you commit to this school and this school says, "Oh, we're gonna pay you 150,000," then you want to leave and then go to another school. They want to pay you 200,000. Okay, well you can go that way, but or if one school does pay you that cap, then it's just like, okay, where is the benefit of me going to another school when they this is all I can earn? So it kind of will dissuade you from leaving schools and jumping ships because you're already at the max money you can already earn.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And because when you look, we're looking at some of these colleges, and they're paying out, like 23 million to players, and then another college is only paying out like 14 million,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I believe, and with college football specifically, I believe that there has to be some kind of union. We know that the like the SEC, the Big
Mm-hmm.
Ten, all these different conferences, they kind of have like their own, I guess, you-
Mm-hmm.
like college collectively has to get together, form like some kind of committee to say, yeah, we'll pay them, but let's put a cap. Like, let's make the cap like maybe 10 mil. Like, just an example, right?
Yeah.
I feel
Right.
like because colleges, historically, they're making more money now than they've ever made because you
Mm-hmm.
have the TV deals and you have
Mm-hmm.
all these commercials and you have all these outlets and ways to generate money. And so colleges are making more money than they've ever made. But I feel like if you cap it at something that's reasonable for every college, then you balance out the playing field. Now that's not to say that you're still that's not to say that for example Baylor's going to get or even players than what Alabama's going to get, or
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma State's going to get the same players that Michigan's going to get.
Right.
There's still going to be a certain level of five stars that each team is going to be able to get based on historically Michigan, historically Alabama versus an Ohio or Oklahoma State, or even Ohio State, for that. But if you can cap it, you still can balance out the playing field a little bit more with an Alabama and a Tennessee, or a Florida and an A&M, right? So
Mm-hmm.
because that, in my opinion, that matters, right? That's why NBA has a cap. That's why, uh,
That's why it's a salary cap in professional sports anyway,
right,
and most of them anyway.
except for baseball. But what do
Yeah.
we see in baseball? Very rare, very rare. And here's the thing. Yes, a couple years ago, Texas Rangers won the World Series. But
Mm-hmm.
now check me out. What did the Dodgers do? They went and paid Shohei Ohtani $700 million for 10 years. Arguably the best. He's arguably the best baseball player of this era that we're ever gonna see. Right? What did
Right.
they do as soon as they paid the best baseball player all that money? They won a World Series. The Dodgers have the money to pay the
Yeah.
players that much, right?
Yeah.
By the way, the owner of the Dodgers is the new owner of the Lakers. So the difference is NBA has a cap. But I say that to say the cap makes a difference.
It
Like it
does.
does. It
It
makes
levels
a
the playing
difference.
field.
It's levels the playing field.
Yeah.
We
It will.
what have we seen in the NBA? We've seen, now I know historically it's been about dynasties, but we've
Mm-hmm.
we've seen now, and I think a lot of that has to do with the TV deals, and a lot of it has to do with the different levels of social media, so we can see every team. We have the NBA TV. You can watch any team you want to watch now, any game you want to watch, and so that's balanced out the NBA, where we've seen seven different champions over the last 7 years in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching the NFL, where I know New England had their run, but as the TV deals and the YouTube TVs and the things of that sort, where you can watch every game now,
Mm-hmm.
we're watching a different team every year, right? Like win the Super Bowl. So that matters. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
and I think that could help college football. We got used to Alabama. Now
Yeah.
I know that as of late it's kind of been changing. You've been seeing a little bit more teams, like even just what a couple years ago we saw Washington in the mix
Mm-hmm.
when Penix Jr. was there. So I do believe a cap would help that in college
I
football.
think I think so too. Because I mean, I'm always for competitive nature. The competitiveness of it's the reason why we play sports, man. You play it because you got a competitive nature. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You love the game.
right.
So when I'm looking at it, I would love to see a cap that is across the board because, the smaller schools aren't going to be able to pay you your 14, 15, 20 something million to get a recruit. You know what I'm saying? They ain't going to, I mean, let's just be real. Not the smaller schools don't do that. So if they come up with a cap that benefits all schools, it also benefits your students, the
Yes.
athletes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what's the biggest problem is like, yeah, everybody like back in the day, everybody want to go to Alabama, but not everybody's going to be able to play. But you're
Yeah.
just sitting on the bench with a bunch of athletes that just so it's just like when the talent can get spread around, which is what we're kind of seeing now with these NIL deals, is the talents are shifting and they're moving because they can move to different places now. When the talent gets spread around like that, it makes for a much more exciting experience. You know what I'm saying? And you get to see things that you never did get to see. That's one reason
Yeah.
why I think the best playoff is March Madness. That's the best playoff experience in sports to me because you get to see the teams that you never would even thought be in the what you call it play
Yeah, when
against
you
your
look at that
top
bracket, yeah,
teams. Yeah, when
yeah,
you're looking at those brackets and you just wonder like, okay, they did good in their conference and but they're not big conferences, so they're never really going to get a lot of exposure until you see them in the March Madness. And then when you see that happens, how many times we walk around with these Cinderella stories and these big upsets, bracket busters? Man, it makes college basketball that much more exciting to watch because of the fact that A, it's one and done, which is a great thing, and B, it shows that on any given night, your top schools don't necessarily always have the best nights, or they might not have the best talents. It gives exposure to some of those players that don't be able to be seen all the time. And I love watching an upset. It's just like, or even if it's not an upset, I love watching a small school
being
come
able
into
to
the
compete,
game and then giving a bigger name school all the work, all that work, even if they don't
yeah,
win.
yeah.
But if they ain't getting blown out, it makes it for a much more exciting thing to watch. So I love it. It's a lot better if talent can get spread around. Um, Now, if players, people, athletes want to stay at a school and the school just happens to have the better talent, then that I mean it is what it is, But it's just like we just level the playing field like that. Now you probably still gonna get to the old school ways where I want to go to Alabama because of prestige and stuff, but it will be that reason. It ain't gonna be because this school can pay you 10 times more than this other school here. It's just like, let's just keep it around a even playing field all the way across the board, put some kind of cap on it, and let's see what happens there. That'll be exciting to me just to see where the talent goes from that level.
It would. I agree with you 100%. Having said that, you brought up you brought up the college basketball playoff format. Now, what if college football? implemented the same format with with let's just say 16 teams, they implemented the same kind of format, maybe shorten the season to maybe 10 or 11 games, and did the same kind of format with, do you think that would be interesting? Or is it when we talk about football, is the level of a powerhouse just that much more better than, like let's compare, let's just say Texas versus Ohio State, or one of these smaller school, colleges, maybe even like
Mm-hmm.
Rutgers, or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. Is it that much of a gap, or would that still be competitive? What are your thoughts?
Uh, See,
Because the NFL,
when it comes to
like football is just so much more.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say when it comes to football, football is a little more, the talent outshines a little more in football if you ask me.
yeah,
And what I
agreed.
mean by that is the fact that, basketball, yeah, your talent's going to outshine. You got people that are just going to be a step above. But in basketball, everybody's shooting at the same goal. It's always a percentage based thing. It's just how good can you shoot the ball. You know what I'm saying? Uh, yeah, speed and all that stuff does play a big part in basketball, but it still ultimately is, can you get the ball into the basket?
Yeah,
Everybody's got to shoot at the rim. And percentages are going to be different depending on your skill set and how good you are shooting the ball. Football, athletes tend to outshine everything else in football, much at a much greater scale. You know what I'm saying? Basketball, you have a chance. There's a lot of people, you might not be athletic, but if you can shoot that thing, you can shoot that thing. It don't matter.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Period.
You can
Yeah,
be in the game. You could take a small school, and if you got a small school full of shooters,
they
the
got a chance.
athleticism does help, but that nullifies athleticism. Hey, I could shoot this mother from half court. It don't matter how athletic you're gonna be if I'm just pulling up from the driveway. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? From the
yeah,
parking lot on you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
What can you really do with that? It's just like, I mean, but in football, athletes just outshine. We see it all the time. It really doesn't even matter. Like, you can look in the NFL. Everybody in the NFL is an athlete. Everybody. But there's levels. You know what
hmm,
I'm saying? Like, you get a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, or you got somebody like how Mike Vick used to do back in the day. Like, back in the day was literally talent is all that in it. It's college is talent based completely. I would love to see some of these little schools have the chance to be able to, make some noise. But it's very rare you see the same type of upsets in college football as you would do in, what I'm saying, in like a college basketball setting or in a basketball setting. Like, you don't see a Appalachian State beat like a Michigan very often.
yeah. Like
And
that's
then when you
just not.
do, you just kind of like, oh my gosh. But nine
Yeah,
times out of 10, those scores are literally like 57-7.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like
That's what. Yeah,
blowouts. So
blowouts. Yeah,
college football, it can benefit, but it's gonna benefit only in the fact that, I mean, your mid major, your it's only gonna benefit really if you can bring out some of these smaller schools. But when we're talking about smaller schools, you're talking about like your schools like Washington State or those that are in smaller conferences,
yeah,
technically. Um, it's really hard, but to me, it just seems like it would, the format that they have now, it kind of works.
yeah.
Um,
I would
now
like to see
some,
more teams though.
yeah, I would definitely like to see more teams. I would love to see kids get a chance. That's my biggest thing. Like, if you can give people a chance to showcase something, that's a lot better. Even though it might not be the best looking game or whatever, but sometimes you're just looking at it in that perspective like a chance. Just give them a chance. I don't like the fact when they don't have a chance to even play for anything. Like, I like kind of like the format it is, like your power conference. I like the fact if conference champions win their conference, let them be in the playoffs.
Playoff. Yeah.
You know, it just at least gives them a chance to try to do something. It's only a few conferences, not a whole bunch. It's only like
Bunch.
what,
Right.
10, 12 conferences or something like that, really.
Yeah.
So it's not really a big, because all the conferences are now merging into super conferences. You know what I'm saying? Teams are
Yeah.
leaving one and going to another.
Another.
So
Yeah.
let's like give it to something like that. Your conference champions, they get in. Then let wherever you're in rankings seed them how they are in the rankings. Like, this is your one seed because this is the number one team in the nation. This is your
Yeah.
one seed.
Right. Right.
There ain't
Right.
no guesswork in that. You know, they ended the season number one. This team ended number two. Let them be your two seed. All the way on down the board. I mean, if you're, then it kind of gets like a little dicey when you got teams that might make it because they won their conference, but they're not
Yeah.
ranked or
They're
something like
ranked.
that.
Yeah. Exactly.
But
Yeah.
then you just have to come up with some other way of like putting them in, some kind of at-large bid or something. Like your 1 through 4 can, like if you're doing a 16, or they could take like the NFL thing. You know what I'm saying? You're doing a couple of seeds here. What, NFL has how many teams that make it to the playoffs? It's 7, 8 on each side, something like that.
Yeah.
One team gets a bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Two or one, or yeah, one team gets a bye now, and
Bye.
then like everybody else plays or something like that. You
Yeah.
know.
They switched it a
So
couple. Yeah.
yeah, so something like that nature could work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're bringing in 16 teams or something like that, or you could make it 18 or some weird odd number because
Right.
you can give the number one and number two seeds, maybe they can get a bye week, and then whoever finishes out the other weeks, they play them, and then it goes on, and so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
it's some way to at least expand it a little bit to give some other teams, some smaller schools, a chance.
An opportunity. Right.
An opportunity. That's all you're really looking for.
Yeah.
And college does kind of do a good job with certain things. Like, yeah, they might not win a national championship, but there's always bowl games that they have all the other bowl games that go on.
Games.
So you
Right.
win
Right.
something.
Right.
But it would be cool. It would be cool. I don't know the details of how to make it, but it might make it a little more interesting to see a little more teams. Of course, nobody wants to see blowouts, and you're probably gonna see
Yeah.
a bunch of that. But hey, just to give people a chance. Sometimes you're
Yeah.
just looking for a chance, but
Opportunity. Yep. For sure. Just a chance, like you said. And the thing is, like when we started talking about the level of competition in college, that matters because in the trenches, if I have, let's say I have on my O line, I have, let's say I have 3 4 stars, right?
mhm,
And I'm playing this smaller school, and their D line has a couple 2 stars and a couple 1 stars, right?
mhm,
Now, does that always matter? No.
mm,
But a
no,
great portion of the time,
yeah,
it does,
yeah,
right? And if it comes down to you can't get to my quarterback has all day. That I'm usually winning that game. I can run the ball at will. I'm usually winning that game, right?
mhm,
That matters. My defense is way faster than any of the wide receivers you have. My D line is stronger than any other offensive line you have. That matters. And generally, like you said, at a football level, that matters.
mhm,
Whereas in basketball, all right, your guy may be a little bit faster,
mhm,
but as a team defensively together, we still cause havoc, right? Like you're missing shots, you got to come into this perimeter. Now you have to come into the paint, and this smaller school might have a 6'9" guy with long arms,
mhm,
and you don't really know, but he's like third in college basketball in blocks, right?
yeah,
You don't really know because he's at this small school.
yeah.
But those are things that happen in basketball that are not often talked about. So it is way different.
It's much different.
Yeah.
College, and I say, like, when you're looking at it, basketball has more of an individualism Well, not
aspect.
really. So, somewhat. You know, your
Yeah,
star's gonna shine,
yeah, yeah,
but it's still overall collectively, like in both sports, it's overall a collective team game. But
yeah,
in basketball, rarely do you see just the individual can will a whole. I mean, they can,
yeah.
but if your whole team ain't clicking and it's just this one individual, 9 times out of
Yeah.
10 you ain't winning.
You ain't winning.
Now in
Yeah,
college football, it's the same thing, but you still can have somebody, a running back, tear you up for 200 and something yards and still keep pace with your whole entire scheme because you can't tackle him. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? You can't do nothing with him.
Pro-
You might be able to keep the receivers in bay, but this
yeah,
man's running all over you. You know what I'm
yep,
saying? Like we seen with old buddy yesterday. I mean last year with Boise State. I
yeah,
mean they couldn't do much with them. Yeah, there's games they lost, but you couldn't
yeah.
do much with them.
With them, yeah.
That's really what Boise
You couldn't
State
tackle
had.
them. Yeah,
That's all they
yeah,
had, really. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I mean, they were okay everywhere else, but
But like I always ask, I ask people. I say, name somebody else on Boise State's team.
unless you follow Boise State, you really ain't.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Like
really can't.
unless you're a college football analyst
Mm-hmm.
or a Boise State fan, you're
Yeah,
probably not gonna know
yeah,
really. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so, and
And I
that
just
like
and I just
what you
think
said.
in football, an individual can have a huger impact on the game than in basketball. To me, that's just my opinion from what I've seen. Like we look at the NFL, if Lamar Jackson's on, it's hard to beat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we seen them lose games and the offense was clicking and the defense was trash. We seen them
Yeah,
win games and the offense was clicking and the defense is trash.
yeah,
So it just depends on, but it's but the individuals can make so big of an impact in football versus in basketball. Basketball, you only got a certain space that you can go through. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Yeah, one individual can kill you. But
yeah,
what's the biggest thing about like how a lot of people play when they play like in basketball when you talk about like your greats, like your LeBrons and Kobe's and stuff. What do they normally say? You can't stop them.
yeah.
They're
You
going to
can't.
get their
Yeah,
points.
they're gonna
But
get
your
there.
job is to make sure everybody else don't get anything. And when
Anything, right?
everybody else ain't getting anything, no matter how many points this man got,
Yeah.
you gonna make it hard for them to win
Well,
because ain't
well, that
nobody else scoring
well
at
that
one
was
point.
that was the thing with Allen Iverson. Like one of the conversations that I often see is that they always talk about like his percentage and how much he shot, and
Mm-hmm.
they're always like, well, of course he's gonna get that many points because look how often he shot. And I always say like, in my opinion, that doesn't take away from his greatness. And the
No.
reason I say that doesn't take away from his greatness because I'm like, who else was gonna score?
Yeah, for real.
Like,
Like,
who else on the team? Like, I'm probably taking that many shots too, and anybody else would, because who else was gonna do it? Who
yeah,
else on that team was gonna do
like they had one of those teams. Like at some point in time, yeah, somebody might get off. Aaron McKee might get off today. Just Snow might do something today, tonight. But 9 times out of 10, it
it?
was Allen Iverson.
Right.
You know, and all they were banking on was playing strong defense. That's pretty
Defense.
much it. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? It's kind of like the Bulls. My Bulls when they had Derrick Rose. We had Derrick Rose. He was our offense. Everybody else was just kind of there. You know what I'm saying? We had a Carlos Boozer at one time, but he was okay. But the only consistent offense we had was Derrick Rose, and they played
Yeah.
tough nosed defense,
Yep.
and we
That was what
won
it
games
was.
that way. You know what I'm saying? But
With Joakim Noah as your
yeah,
as your
but
anchor on the
yeah,
defense.
but guess what? We couldn't get over that hump. We couldn't beat Miami. You know what I'm saying? Miami had much more offensive power and they played good defense. So it's like, what would you gonna do? You know, it's like it's
Yeah.
only so far one person's gonna take you. But we've seen countless of times one person in just take over a game in football
Yeah. Well,
and change it.
and yeah, and so
But it's all just not to let anybody get past. It's all still a team game. You know what I'm
Oh yeah,
saying? You still
absolutely.
need a team. But I'm just saying the impact of one person in football sometimes can outshine what an impact of one person in basketball can do.
Basketball. Oh yeah,
That's how I look at it. Not saying
because
that I'm
I
right or wrong. It's just how
yeah,
I peep it.
because even when you go look at some of the great Texas teams, right? Like
Hmm.
me as a Texas fan now, I can go back and name you a lot of players on that Texas team when Ricky Williams was there, or but your average college football fan that doesn't necessarily look at Texas, they might be
Hmm.
from, let's say they're from North Carolina, they're gonna
Hmm.
be like, oh, Ricky Williams, right?
Yeah.
And he spearheaded how good that team was, you know. And I think that's what you're speaking of,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And but we could also look at, but then sometimes people will go back and look at that 2001 Miami team where
Oh, they was loaded.
that was just a loaded
It
team.
was loaded. Yeah. And you
Yeah,
see what happens when you load it.
that might be the most loaded team in college football history. In
They were
college
loaded.
football history, in my opinion. Like it
Hmm.
doesn't get much more loaded than that.
Yeah, they were stacked everywhere. It
Everywhere.
when you got teams like that that are just stacked everywhere, it's almost like no competition. They're just blowing people
What was it
out.
like? 14 players and from Miami in the first round, first
Something
couple.
like that.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it was
something like that. It was
insane. That
insane.
was
It was
Willis
insane.
McGahee,
Hmm.
Clinton
They
Portis.
they was stacked. They
Yeah,
were stacked everywhere.
everywhere.
But
Like,
but it's just like just think about like certain things like when you watched prime example that Texas team with Vince Young won the
yeah,
championship.
yeah,
Most people don't know nobody else other than Vince Young on that
yeah.
team.
That was a solid team.
That was a solid team, but all the
Yeah.
people really know is Vince Young. And
Vince
what
Young,
when you
yeah.
when you seen that national championship, who won that game for Texas? Vince Young.
Vince Young at that running that last play where he ran it in
They
and
yeah,
stepped it
but
over.
yeah,
Yeah.
they could not stop him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like
no.
USC was a powerhouse, but
Yeah,
they just
well
could not stop him.
because USC had Matt Leinart,
Reggie Bush
Reggie
was it?
Bush,
Yep, it
Lindell
was Reggie.
White,
Yep.
you
They
know,
had some dogs on USC. Matter of
yeah,
fact, they wasn't that the year they could have went back to back or something, right?
yeah,
But you couldn't do nothing with Vince Young. One player changed the game, the whole game. And it's just, I mean, and it's not to say anything one or the other sport is better than the other or not. It's just the individual talent in football can really dictate how a game changes in the
right,
biggest way.
right.
Basketball, it is the same, but I just think that basketball, you need a collective team because one person can't shoot all the shots.
Yeah, 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 for
You know what
sure,
I'm saying? One
for
man
sure.
can't shoot all the shots. I done
Yeah,
seen football where teams become successful and not even like quarterback, the most important position.
yeah.
Now I done seen my team win a game, San Francisco, and the quarterback threw the ball 7 times.
Well, yeah, yeah, we well,
You don't
so
even need your quarterback. So guess what? When the quarterback throws 7 times, that means what? Your receivers weren't needed. All you needed them to do was block. That was
but
it. The
yeah.
whole game.
So
That's it. Just block.
that's such a great argument because like let's look at like let's look at the Baltimore team with winning the Super Bowl and pretty much no offense.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like not the Flacco Super Bowl.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And like when you look at quarterbacks matter, but this is why I was trying to explain Cam Newton wasn't being offensive when he was saying people Purdy's a game manager.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah. It's
Game
really not.
managers just know how to manage games without free of mistakes.
Yep, they don't make the mistakes that's gonna cost you the ball game.
But right, free of mistakes. They don't make the mistakes that will, like you said, that will cost you the game. It's not a bad thing,
No, it's
right?
not.
But the quarterback does matter. Like in all those games, the quarterbacks matter, right? Um, they didn't cost you the game. They were able to do what they needed to do to let the defense do what they had to do to win the game.
Yeah, because we
Same
know what
goes.
happens with a team that don't have a quarterback at all, which
Look
unfortunately
at Jimmy
was my
Garoppolo.
49ers again,
Look at
where
Jimmy
we
Garoppolo. What
yeah
did he do? He lost the game. He like we could say, see, but his mistake cost you. And
the
I've
game.
seen multiple times. Here's the thing: Jimmy Garoppolo overall, he's a decent arm talent.
Yeah,
He's a
most
decent arm
definitely.
talent, but he's not a starter currently
Mhm.
because he he mismanages games.
Yeah, he don't move that needle like you need him to. He don't move
Right.
that
He
threshold. Ain't nobody.
mismanages games. And
Yeah.
that's the difference, right? And
Hmm.
and 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 I think sometimes what we do is I we me and you make the argument about Brock Purdy, how good he is he top 10 or whatever.
Hmm.
Here's the reality of it, right? Um, we make the joke because I'm a Rams fan and you're a Niners fan, and this is what we've always done. But the reality is, who out there? Yes, they gave him a contract because who out there is better for the 49ers than Brock Purdy right now? Who else was you going to go get? Exactly.
Nobody. That was it.
That was it.
That's your team. That's your
That's your team,
guy.
right? So
So
who
like
else
yeah.
better? So yeah, we can make the arguments. We can have the conversation. We can
Hmm.
joke. Is Brock Purdy really that good and all of that? It's for conversation. Yes. The reality is Brock Purdy was your best available,
Yeah.
and he's not bad. And it's not a bad best available. It's not to degrade him. Brock Purdy is pretty damn good overall, right?
Yes, he is.
Um, and so that's where I think people get confused. And let me say real quick, man, let's normalize podcast in general. Uh there's a way to have conversations and talk without belittling somebody that disagrees with you.
Facts.
Me and you disagree on some things. We don't gotta be yelling and screaming and saying
It's
crazy stuff
unnecessary.
to each other.
Yeah. Don't.
Like it's conversation. I'm sick of seeing, and going off of sports for a second. I mean, it's sports. It comes from watching some sports podcasts, but I'm sick of seeing the podcast where this person disagreed with me. Now he's an idiot or he's stupid.
Hmm.
These are opinion based things.
Yeah.
Even
And
numbers can lie to you sometimes.
yes, this is
It
true.
is it's an opinion based thing, right? And
Hmm.
so I don't want to watch. I enjoy watching other podcasts. I know we have ours. I try to
Oh
promote
yeah.
ours. I
Yeah.
enjoy watching other sports podcasts, but what I'm not going to do is sit and look at a podcast where somebody gives their opinion and the co-host or somebody else on the show calls them stupid and starts yelling at them because they have a difference of opinion.
Yeah. That makes it uninteresting. It
Yeah,
really will make it uninteresting because
I,
at the end of the day, it's just opinions. That's all it
yeah,
is.
it's all it
Nobody's right
is.
or wrong unless
All
you
right.
have straight, hard, drop facts right in front of your face that cannot be
Right,
disputed.
right.
It's all opinion based. It doesn't
It's
even
all
matter.
opinion. When I say Jordan's the greatest of all time, that's
That's
my
an
opinion.
opinion. That's an
It's
opinion.
my opinion. I'm not calling
Yeah.
nobody stupid because they think it's LeBron James.
Yeah. It's
Nobody's
an opinion.
stupid because they think it's Kobe. Nobody's stupid because they think it's Shaq.
It's
It's all
different
opinion based.
than when you say, okay, Jordan's the greatest of all time. This is my opinion. Okay, that's what it is. Baseline.
Yeah,
It's a different conversation than you saying LeBron James owns the record for most points scored in the NBA. You can't dispute that. That is
That's a
literally
fact.
a fact. So
It's a
anybody that
fact.
goes against that, then that becomes okay. You don't know what you're talking about
Talking
because
about,
this is a
yeah,
strict fact. You cannot disprove it in any way. The
yeah.
numbers in this position don't lie.
Don't
You
lie.
can't say anything else. Here's all the
Exactly.
people. This is what the numbers are. Nobody's reached it. That's a
That's what it
permanent
is.
fact right now,
Yes.
as of today.
Right.
So, that's a fact. So, but the this whole that's why I don't know why people get so mad about the whole greatest of all time and all these. I'm a 49er fan. I think the 49ers are the best team ever when it comes to football. That's my opinion.
Right.
You're a Rams fan. You think it's
I
the Rams. There's
I
another
I
person that's a
think
Cowboy fan. They think it's the Cowboys.
personally think currently that less need. Now I'm wholeheartedly in my heart. I feel like McVay historically might be the best coach in NFL history based on what he's been able to do. He came in, immediately made an impact. Now again, that's my
Yeah,
my
that's your
opinion.
opinion. Definitely.
And while numbers show he's been able to change the dynamic of the Rams historically, it's
Hmm.
still opinion based
Yeah.
on that, right?
Yeah.
That's still an opinion based thing. Um, and so, like you said, you think it's the Niners, I think it's the Rams currently.
Yeah, I mean, but this is what you're a fan of the team, so
Yeah,
therefore, if you're a fan of the team, you're gonna think they're probably the best team out there. It
yeah,
doesn't matter if they got it. It really doesn't matter the player base. Yeah, realistically, you could be like, yeah, our roster's trash right now, or whatever. That's a
right.
realistic. Okay, if your roster just doesn't look up to snuff, but that doesn't take away your opinion of how you feel about your favorite team. You
Team,
still gonna
yeah.
feel like your favorite team is the greatest team that's since
And
sliced bread.
and look,
And that's just it.
I'm our last conversation about Kobe and the T Mac thing. I'm a always cape for Kobe. Oh, I'm joking.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna do it.
yeah,
I'm just gonna do it. As a Laker guy, I'm gonna cape for Kobe.
yeah.
I'm not.
Facts. I mean,
You know
but
what I
as
mean?
you should. That's who you rock with. You know what I'm saying? That's who you rock with. I'm
Yeah,
a Bulls fan, but you see how I do. I
yeah.
think we
Keep it
trash right
real.
now.
Keep it real.
But I still
Just like
think the Bulls is one of the best teams ever. That's
be,
because I'm a fan of them.
before the
But
before the playoffs started, who did I pick to win? OKC, right? And
yeah,
then I went back the next week and I was like, yeah, I got to cheer for the Lakers. Stickly though, I was like, I don't know the Lakers defense. You know what I
you
mean?
know what I'm saying?
I would
Yeah,
like them to do better,
you
but
know what I'm saying.
I'm super realistic.
But it's just what it is. But like you said, this podcast. Look, we just here to have like with us. Yeah, we've been doing this for us. We own a podcast,
Yeah,
but between me and you, we've been friends for eons, and
yeah,
this is just regular conversation for us. You know what I'm saying? This is not a podcast for us. It's just we just getting on here. It's almost like just being on the phone or right in the living room, just talking to each other right
just
now,
talk. Yep,
just
exactly.
talking sports because that's what we've always done. That's how we
Yep,
rock. You know what
yep.
I'm saying? Some of these people, y'all got a little bit like y'all. I guess it's almost like y'all just doing it for I guess it's a job for you or whatever. This is just conversation. It should just be
Yeah,
conversation. You're just having
yeah.
a
That's all
y'all
it
having
is.
talks. Y'all gonna have disagreements.
Yeah,
Everybody's gonna have a different disagreements. You all gonna have opinions, man. Just keep it classic. Just keep it cool. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like I ain't gonna call you an idiot or nothing like that for whatever your take might be if I disagree with it. You know what I'm saying? You think the Rams are the greatest? I think that's crazy work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it ain't got nothing to do with you. That I mean, ain't
yeah,
no personal attack or whatever. Now the
yeah.
only fan base I literally just crawl crazy out there. I mean, if you're a Cowboy fan, I mean, you know what
You're
I'm
a
saying.
Cowboy fan. I
I mean,
and
yeah,
we're even realistic
you know what
about
I'm
them.
saying.
We
Exactly.
crap on the we
You know what
crap on the
I'm saying.
Cowboys.
I just
And
don't like the Cowboys. You
here
know, it
goes
is
the
what it is.
thing. I don't even think we dislike the Cowboys. I think we dislike the Cowboy fan.
It is that narrative there. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
It's
honestly, I don't like the Cowboys either. I just
no,
don't really
I
care
don't.
for the team at all.
I don't.
Jerry
I
Jones
don't.
need to be quiet. But
Yeah.
it's not that I don't like. it's the fan base. You know what I'm
It's
saying? I don't
that's the
have a
bigger part
problem
of
with
it.
the individual person, but it's just the fact of how y'all root for your team is kind of like,
Yes.
where's the realistic? Where's the
Exactly. Yeah.
realism at?
They're
Yeah,
they're
I mean,
they're in such
y'all could be in
dismay. Like,
turmoil. Y'all could come into the season and be like, "Hey, we got 4 players. We still gonna win the Super Bowl." Come on,
yeah,
bro. You ain't even got a
yeah,
whole team yet. How you gonna
yeah,
win?
yeah,
That's the kind of and growing up in my household, God rest my brother's soul. I grew up
yeah.
in a
Having day.
household with the Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
So I knew how that joint was gonna
And
roll.
and
You know what I
not a
mean?
quiet
You know,
Cowboy fan either.
no.
Not
How about them Cowboys in your face
not
with it?
in your
Like,
face.
come on
Not
now.
a quiet Cowboy fan at all.
You know what I'm
Let you know
saying?
about it. Let
You know what
you
I'm saying?
know about it.
Bro, like, so it ain't it's just I just don't like the Cowboys. And the
Yeah,
Cowboys 49ers had a rivalry, so it is what
yeah,
it is. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Hey, there ain't no rivalry right now because we've been mud stomping holes in that ad. But you know what I'm saying? That's neither here nor there. Hey, not too much, Big Will. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna do too much to him
Not
today.
too much. Yeah, you're not.
But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, though, it's just like, man, we just on here to have fun. We just on here
Yeah,
to talk
for
sports,
sure.
talk what people love to talk about, and just keep it cool, man. I mean, that's what it
Yeah.
is, and that's how podcasts should be. And so it's good to see the ones where they just have like regular conversations. I love
Conversation.
watching
Yeah,
those. But yeah,
yeah,
when you start getting into that, oh, you stupid, you're an idiot, you're dumb. Y'all starting to get into this other. Now it's not even. Y'all ain't even having a
yeah,
podcast no more because what
yeah,
you don't know what's gonna transpire now. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like that whole chemistry that y'all have could be thrown out the
It's
window.
thrown out the window.
And now
Yeah,
what was just a basic old, just a basic interaction with two people.
yeah.
Now y'all might literally have real beef
Beef. Yeah,
for over what? An
yeah.
opinion? That's
Oh
crazy
yeah,
work.
exactly,
Stupid
exactly.
work.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I ain't gonna, obviously I'm not gonna speak on no, I'm not gonna name, other podcasts that make me feel that way, but I'm just gonna say, shout out Swaggy P, man. You hold your own, and you're entitled to your opinion, and nobody can take that away from you, and did anybody call him Swaggy P anymore?
I don't. I think they do still. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no
You know what I'm
idea.
saying? But yeah, I mean, and it's one thing to talk about people. Like, don't make it a personal attack on the person.
Person, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You could talk about a person's take on something and say that's a crazy take. That's
Take, yeah,
wild.
that's wild.
You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
that's how you
Wow,
feel.
that's crazy, bro. Really?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But personal attacks. That's just what's the point?
yeah.
What's
What's
the
the
point? What are
point?
you
Yeah,
gaining out of that?
yeah, yeah, for sure. Now, since we've gone through that, I want to take the time to say, like, to the consistent fans, to the consistent people that watch us. I mean, like, in all seriousness, it's truly appreciated. Like,
Facts.
when
Yeah.
I start, and you know what, let me real quick, and I know we're like 54 minutes into the show. I just want to say, like, to a friend of mine, Gary Emmert. He's like super important to me doing this. Like, the only reason I got really into podcasts is because Gary Emmert, and you know um, he was somebody that when I was going to school for like communications and this audio emphasis stuff, doing audio emphasis stuff, he brought it to my attention about podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Me and a guy, Adam, and Justin, we were doing like this radio thing called Three Amigos and a Leprechaun, and we, you know there was at the college that I was going to, there had been a radio station called Catch the Crave, which is still active currently. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's the Crave now. I haven't been there in almost 10 years now, but um, we did like a radio show on there. Then I started doing some sports stuff with Gary. He's currently a program director at a radio station here locally, and he's a big. I just want to say he's like a big part in me doing this. He moved, and he's a busy guy, and we had actually started this pod. Me and him started this podcast together. He got busy, and I thought to myself, I'm like, who better than like you know my best friend who I've been talking sports with since we were in high school. Let me reach
Hmm.
out to Adrian and see if he's interested, and the rest is history. So for the people that don't know that backstory, if you go all the way to the beginning, there's like 4 or 5 videos with me and Gary Emmer on this, and like I said, he got busy. I would like to have him back, and when I say knowledgeable about like baseball, he knows baseball. I mean, like
Nice.
he knows baseball b- like far beyond my knowledge of baseball. Far beyond my knowledge of baseball. Like he is like really really knowledgeable.
Man, that'll be
In sports in general, he's really knowledgeable. He's from Colorado, so he's a Denver Nugget fan. Uh, Unfortunately for him, he's a Colorado Rocky fan, and like I think they've won 12 games this year. But I do want to like show my appreciation and shout out that I do appreciate him for getting me in this space and for helping me understand um, how to do this comfortably and confidently. And so
that's dope.
I
That's
just wanted
dope.
to acknowledge that.
Yeah, if he ever
And
has time, that would be great to have him on here. Like I
yeah,
said, I would love to get back in or love to have more baseball knowledge, and that would just help me out with it. You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
Um, but yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah, I would like to have him on here. So I'm gonna reach out to him and see when he has time to join us on here. But yeah, I just I had to shout that out. Shout out to
Facts.
Bros Talk Podcast. While we out
Facts.
here showing some love, let me shout out them. A lot of respect to them. They talk about a lot of things. They talk about everything under the sun that's going on. So shout
Hmm.
out to them. We've been on their podcast. The episode is out. I'm gonna put the link to that episode in the comments for this. Shout
Yeah.
out to them, and I want to say I appreciate you for doing this with me.
Yeah, most def.
Every week, man. This is it's been great. I've enjoyed
Yeah.
it. We've been doing it for
This been a year now.
a year
I think
now.
it's
Yeah,
been about a year. If it's not, it'll
yeah,
be a year and a couple of weeks.
yeah.
Time
It's
flies,
yeah.
bro.
It's pretty close. Yeah,
I remember one time just looking out on YouTube, and I was just like, "Dang, we didn't did this many episodes already."
yeah,
That year went quick. I remember
yeah,
when we was first trying to do the little podcast when you was
yeah,
staying over, what you call it, and we,
yeah.
you know what I'm
Long
saying?
time.
That was
Yeah.
yeah. Well, see what, but it's been, you know what I'm saying? It's been real fun, bro. Like
Yeah, for
I
sure.
really enjoy this, and it's just a good way to be able to keep, you know what I'm saying? Especially keep in touch with my family. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You my
yeah,
brother. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
that
for
goes
real.
beyond anything. You know what I'm saying? So it just was when you reached out, I had to get up on it. You know what I'm saying? I had to
Yeah,
join you with it because
yeah,
this is what we do, and this is just another way of, you know, life can be busy or whatever, but this is an excellent way to just get away from the everyday hustle and bustle of life and just to sit down with my partner for years and just to sit here and enjoy the space and to talk to people and interact with people, you know,
yeah,
we love it. You know what I'm saying? This is what we
yeah,
do. So
yeah.
we
We
just wanted
do.
to bring something to everybody else and y'all join in with us, you know what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah,
I really appreciate it, bro. I appreciate you and for allowing me to be on here and, you know, unscripted, you know what I'm saying? It's just
it's just
You
yeah,
know,
it's
it's
just
been fun.
conversation. Yeah,
Yeah, man, it's been real fun, and I've really been enjoying it. I've been enjoying myself. You know, normally I don't really do a whole much outside of just work and being at the crib. Might play the game or something. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But
yeah,
it just gives like something to look forward to talk sports, man, and just to be
yeah,
able to get your voice out there, whether we make money or not. It's not even
yeah.
about
No,
that. We don't
it's
make
not.
no. Ain't now one of us got. I know I ain't got no royalty checks or nothing like that. I ain't no YouTuber or
You
nothing
got
like
one
that, bro.
either.
So we'll do this stuff for money. This ain't no
No,
monetized thing. We just on here
yeah,
just to have a good time and
time.
enjoy it.
Yep.
And we will really applaud and we really appreciate y'all for listening to us. Two crazy people just on here shooting this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
But we
That's
really
it.
do appreciate y'all, man, and we engage with us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Really, you just engage.
And like you said, we ain't making no money, but please share so at some point we can start
You,
making
you
some
know what I'm
money.
saying? We ain't gonna
So,
stop. You
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I'm saying,
Yeah.
we don't do it for money, but like, please share so that like one day we can.
Like, subscribe,
Yeah,
share,
exactly.
get it out
Yeah,
there.
you
Tell
get it
people,
out.
you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Hey, we ain't gonna turn down no money if we make some money.
yeah.
But
If
at the end of the day,
yeah,
though, we just
yeah.
do this for the fun of it. It's the love of
No,
the
yeah,
talk.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I love it, and you know, to anybody, I say this. I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, it's too many podcasts out there," and I'm sure they probably said that about all kinds of like TV historically. It probably when they
Mm-hmm.
had more than Fox and CBS and NBC, and they
Mm-hmm.
were probably it's too many networks. That was probably a thing at one point. If you ever want to start a podcast, I tell people start the podcast. Just do it. Just go on there and
Yeah,
talk.
man.
Whatever
Yeah.
you have to talk about, just do it because sometimes this is a healthy space for people.
Yeah.
It's a healthy outlet for people. Sometimes people just want to be heard, but they don't want to necessarily they're introverts. They don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be in a loud or high volume space, but they still want to be heard. So even if it's just a handful of people listening to you, do it. You know what I mean? Just be inspired
Yeah.
to do it, regardless of. Don't let anything deter you from doing it.
Yeah, I mean, we just in a generation of, there's too many podcasts. You could say that. People say it's too many people on social media. You know, man. At the end of the day, man, you're just doing what you love. You're just sharing it with the world. So doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's supposedly another podcast, but it's a space for everybody to eat in. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a bunch of podcasts out there. There's a bunch of gaming channels out there. There's a bunch of
Yeah,
how-to channels out there. There's a bunch of prank channels. There's all kinds of things that's out here in this world, shows for entertainment. But
right.
people just understand it's just entertainment. Some people
That's all
want
it
to just sit
is.
down and talk to the masses. Some people they just want to play a video game and just show and have everybody else just tune in and join in them with them playing a game or something or informational, passing information out there. You know, it's there never can be too much
No,
in
yeah,
this
it can't.
sense because it finds somebody is somebody's gonna connect to you in any kind of way. Somebody's gonna
Wait, yeah,
connect to this podcast, just like somebody connects to the next podcast. Whoever's opinions out there, somebody's gonna resonate with that, and that's why there's so many. Because at the end of the day, it reaches so many people. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
The more the merrier. The more that's out there, the more you can reach and find somebody that has a like-minded of yourself that might say
right.
something that you don't want to say, and you could just actually be a part of that and be a part of that family or that space right there. So, hey, it can't be too much because if there was too much, then everybody wouldn't be dialed in to watching every single one that comes out here. But,
Yeah, yeah, and like for the younger generation, obviously, like you said, with there can't be too much. I know it's a lot of younger kids that are streaming, and there's some older people. that feel like, oh, that's easy. All they do is sit and stream. Let me tell you something. That is hard.
Man, for real.
There is
I
a
don't
lot of
even.
work. There's a lot of work put in to doing that, and I've to be able to promote and to be able to even doing this podcast, like there's work put into it. It's just work it's just things that I
Mm-hmm.
happen to love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Me and you come on here, we conversate, we text about topics that we're going to talk about. Sometimes the topics may seem repetitive, that's
Yeah.
because we didn't address every situation that we wanted to address
Mm-hmm.
about the topic.
Yeah.
But there's it's not easy to just come on here, sit, give your opinion. Also,
It's time
there are
consuming.
there's people that are gonna hate your topic, and they're going to leave a comment about your topic, and that comment may not be a nice comment,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what, you're like, okay, well, uh, that's that person's opinion about
Yeah.
my comment,
Yeah.
whatever, right? And so there's things that are dealt with when it comes to being able to be in a creative space like this. And
Mm-hmm.
so those streamers, when they're streaming live, there's comments on there that may be
Mm-hmm.
hateful to them, right?
Yeah.
Um, but to say that it's easy, or to belittle or downgrade anybody
Nah.
that's in the creative space,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's kind of not fair, because not only is it hard work, harder than most people expect, but it's also, you're putting yourself out there to be criticized and
Yep.
belittled and all of
Yep.
that, right?
And you got to
And
try to block out all that stuff and just keep on
right,
pushing. It's
right,
not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
yeah,
And everybody would be doing it at a high level. There's people that try and then they can't. The pressure of it is it it really can kill a person from wanting to do anything to live like this. Some people do it because it's a dream of theirs to do it, you
right,
know. And like it's not easy. I would have never been on here doing any kind of podcast or streaming of anything if it wasn't for you offering the opportunity to do it. Because
yeah,
for me, myself, I'm not about to go out here. You know me. I'm not a type of person that I don't need a shining light or anything like that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I like to be kind of ducked off behind the scenes. Ain't nobody,
hmm,
to myself type person. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, I mean, yeah, I can get out there and be a little introverted, but I mean, be a little extroverted, but most of the time, I'm just you ain't seen me out in the streets like that or running
yeah,
the city or I've always
yeah,
been like that. You know me.
always,
You know
yeah,
what
I
I'm saying?
know.
So
I was the ripper and runner.
so yeah, so it's like
Yeah,
I've never been the one that has to have my voice to be out in the open or be heard or be seen. I kind of don't really care for that space, you know what I'm saying? You know, if it wasn't for you being my partner, I wouldn't be more than likely I wouldn't be doing this. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Like
right, right, yeah,
I wouldn't put the resources in it. Have I thought about it? Yeah, I have thought about it. I play
yeah,
video games. I was like, oh, it'd be nice to stream some gaming or whatever. I
yeah,
gotta, but I'm not gonna sit here and then the amount of editing that people do. That's not, I'm not that person. You know what I'm saying?
right, 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 right,
That's not what I'm gonna probably be sitting here doing on my Saturday or Sunday just to put out something out there. My stream might be real funky with it. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
yeah,
live stream and it goes up. Whatever is on it, like I ain't edited nothing out of it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Hey, it is
yeah,
what it is. I ain't doing no
yeah,
edits. But it does take a lot for people to do this, and it's just like just respect people for it, man. Like
yeah, oh
it
yeah,
takes a lot for people to do this. Some people it's easier than others. Some people don't. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't do this any other way if they weren't doing what they want to do. But it's just respect people what they do, whatever channel they got going on or whatever they're doing. Just give them respect and respect them. Older generations respect that the younger generation's doing something different than what we didn't do,
we did,
or
right,
people that are above us. y'all didn't have this opportunity, but respect it. It's like
Yeah.
there's no times change, life changes, everything changes and moves in a certain direction. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So
You got to
just
get with the
respect each other.
times.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
respect each other for it. It ain't easy. I'm telling you right now, I work a 9 to 5 to where I am on a PC all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I do not like being on a PC once I'm off work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, you're done. Yeah.
I'm a tech person. You know what I'm saying? But there's no way in the world I'm still going to sit here and tell anybody else, oh, this is easy. Y'all doing it. This is easy to. No, it's not. Bro, do you know how hard some of these people, this might be their job, but there's some people that do it, like me or you. You get off work a 9 to 5, you get off work, and then you on a little spare time to do this. You know what I'm saying? You making time to do something, even though you probably be like, I just want to be able to chill out and don't want to do nothing this weekend. I've been working all week. I don't want to get off
Yep.
work and have to deal. But there's people that get off work and then they do streaming and stuff like
Yeah.
that to
Yep.
earn second income and stuff. Expect it. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
not easy. It is not easy. Some people, it might become easy to, but it is not easy work to do. You got to have the
No.
equipment for it. You got to have the
Yep.
time and patience for it. That is not an easy thing to do, especially when you're trying to
Yeah.
balance life.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're trying to balance, like you said, you brought up life. I work a 9 to 5. About I'd say about 70 to 80% of the time, I am outside at my job. Right. Probably 80 to 90% of the time, I am
Mm-hmm.
outside at my job.
Yeah.
Um,
In Texas,
some
nonetheless.
in Texas, right? Sometimes I am down in a trench, right? Let me tell you, when you're down in the trench that might be 5 6 feet deep, there is no airflow. Okay, so there's oftentimes us switching out. All right, let me climb out. You climb up the ladder, let somebody
Mm-hmm.
else get in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put that, for one, being in there and it's hot, put that with working while you're down in there, and put that all together. When I get off, a lot of the time I am tired, right?
Look, yeah. Yeah.
But I still come home, hop on the laptop, and work on some edits because it's something that I love to do. And it's
Mm-hmm.
it's not, and there are some days where I'm like, you know what? Not today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
Facts.
today. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
sometimes
Facts.
where I'm like, you know what? Not today. I
Bro,
can't do it today, right?
for
And
real.
so,
My hat goes off to you. Because I'm going to tell
and
you right now, let me have been running this mud like that. And I've been sitting here staring at it. Just at my job, I'm on the computer. Like I said, I'm on the computer all day long.
yeah,
I got a whole desktop here I built for myself.
yeah,
Built straight all the pieces. Because you know that I love to do that part. I love
yeah,
building computers.
you love it, yeah.
Ask me how many times a week do I actually be on this mug.
Very rare,
This is
maybe.
the only time I am on this PC is to do this podcast.
Just
This is the
yeah,
only time I'm sitting in in this room to do any computer stuff outside of work is when I'm on this podcast.
yeah.
Other than that, this door's closed and I am not back in here until I got to come back to work again. Cause
That's
I
it.
mean, people think that oh, you just sitting at a desk all day long, bro. Do you know how that is another type of stress?
Yeah,
Sitting at a seat all day long, can't move, can't go nowhere.
yeah,
I just be tired of looking at a screen. I
yeah.
barely is this to even catch a game on TV is kind of a rarity for me because I'm tired of looking at screens all day long. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
yeah, yeah,
I may on the weekend now probably, and usually it's like late at night when I might get on the game and play. Back in the day, I'd be on the game all day long. I
yeah,
can't even do that anymore. Like for real,
yeah,
I'm just like literally that burnt out of all these screens and stuff. Hey, let me just tell people this one time, because me and you, we two different fields,
yeah,
so it's two different perspectives. But I've been in those fields where you work outside and you come home dead tired. But at the same time, this whole thing, like, don't let this home working from home junk fool people and make it think like it's not a stressful situation, because
It's
standing at these computers all day
mentally,
long is mentally draining. I'm
yeah,
telling people right now, sometimes I just go out my backyard and stand outside. To might
yeah,
go out there with my dog or whatever, and I'll just sit outside because I've been inside all day long. I
yeah,
will run errands just to be able to get out the house to see something different.
yeah,
No, but who likes running errands? Like, really? Come on. But it's
yeah,
just the simple fact, like, just to get out the house. Like,
yeah,
there's a balance. Life needs balance, and if you inside all day long staring at computers and that's your job and stuff like that, you might love to do it, but at the same time, hey, I commend you if you could do it and just hop on to another little thing, but get outside.
yeah.
Go see
And
go breathe in that fresh air and
yes,
get outside because you gonna need it.
yes. Yeah, and you know me, I'm a fisherman.
Yeah.
You know how often I fish. I kayak fish. I do some kayak fishing tournaments, and I'll be real with you. There's there's been times where I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go fishing when I get off work, and in my line of work, emergencies happen where
Mm-hmm.
it might your day might be expected to be a little bit chill, and boom, there's something where it's like, not no more. And then my poles will be in the truck and everything, and then it's like, well, there goes fishing.
Yeah, that
you know,
cancel
like,
Christmas there.
yeah,
Yeah.
can't you're right. So, but like you said, I know you and other people that work from home, and they all say the same thing, like, it's mentally exhausting. Like,
Yeah.
because sometimes you just want to, like, see the outdoors. You want to feel the breeze and see something different other than
Mm-hmm.
a room and a computer.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, like, each one of those fields, whether you're outside, inside, or whatever, each one of those things takes its toll.
Yes.
And so, for either one of those to get off work and then be able to do things leisurely that require more work, it's hard.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
I'd say I'd say that's like 70 to 80% of people that are in a creative space have to go do a job other than what they're doing creatively.
Yep.
So that's why I'm so respectful of people that even take the chance to try to do it. Right? You see us on here, I I be yawning sometimes 'cause I'm tired.
Man,
Like,
for real, I've done did it too.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
it's one of them things, man. We just want to show love, and we just want to give our perspectives, and we want to do it in a healthy space. We want to
Yeah.
do it with
Facts.
love, and we want to do it with positivity.
Yes.
And
For real. For real.
that's what we are about.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. 100%.
So, that's what we got. We were supposed to talk about supposed to start talking about the schedules
Yeah.
for the NFL. I think we'll start that we'll start that in a couple weeks. We're going to take a break. We're going to take next weekend, and we're going to give ourselves a break. It's going to be after 4th of July. I actually have to make a long drive to go pick my daughter up for the second part of summer next weekend. So we're going to we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in a couple weeks. Um, but when we come back in a couple weeks, we're gonna dive into schedules for football. We're starting with the NFC North, right? So be prepared for that. That's what we're gonna start with,
Mm,
and go over the schedules. Who's the dominant team in the division, all of that. Who can make a splash, all of that. So be prepared for that in a couple weeks. Football season will be here before you know it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
We have, like, really a couple months, really a month and a half.
Yeah.
We'll have
Yeah. It's
preseason.
about to be here real soon.
Yeah, real soon. So
Real
it'll be
soon.
here before you know it.
Yep.
So we have that, and that's what we got this weekend, man. You
Oh
got
yeah. Oh
anything to
yeah.
add?
No, I ain't. pretty much said everything right then and there. The only thing I got to add is you getting on this college football
I'm
this
getting
year.
on the college. I'm
You
getting
getting on
on
the
the college
college
football
football.
this year for
Okay,
sure.
okay, I hear you talking. Cause you
Yeah, no,
know you know D Town and them waiting. They're gonna be
I
waiting for this
know.
little dynasty we got going on. So
I'm gonna be on.
all right, all
All
right.
right,
I hear
I'll
you
be on
talking.
there.
Hey
I'll
y'all
be
hear
on
him.
there.
Y'all hear
Yeah,
him.
I'll be
All
on
right.
there.
So when I
Yeah,
come on here and I start, you know what I'm saying, like where you at?
yeah.
I don't want to hear nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't
I,
want to hear nothing.
I'm ready.
All
So,
right.
all right, y'all.
All right, man. That's what's it.
Appreciate y'all listening.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate y'all.
All
Peace.
right, peace.